What's up everyone, David Nussbaum at WheelsBoutique here. It is a scorcher out here today. And if I seem a little bit more jazzed up than usual, it's just because we did the rolling shots of this Lamborghini Aventador S, and there's nothing else that you can do but be jazzed up when you hear the exhaust note of this car. And there's nothing else that you can do but be jazzed up when you hear the exhaust note of this car. So, naturally aspirated V12, this engine has been around for many years, and there's always room for improvement. So of course, V12 sound is arguably the best sounding engine in the world. Some people would argue the V10. I kind of side towards the slightly higher pitch V12, but as I mentioned, you can improve on the sound, and this customer of mine definitely agreed with us. So this is a really good buddy of mine named Tariq. Thank you for watching, Tariq. I know that you're watching the minute that this video releases, and we've actually featured a couple of his cars on the channel before. The previous time was a Curacao Blue 720S Spider. I think Marvin's a better encyclopedia on that, but it had, I believe, Anarchy wheels. It had an IP exhaust. It had a DME tune, so it had all the goods. He shipped it over from Texas. But this car also was shipped over to us from Texas. So when we roll around the back, you'll see the Texas license plate. Maybe Marvin blurs it out, maybe he doesn't, depending on how difficult that is. But I'm rambling on. So this, again, thank you to Tariq for sending us your cars. Beautiful Rosso Efesto is the name of the candy red. I mean, out here in the sun, it definitely sparkles a lot. And there's so much depth to this color that as I stand here, if I look towards the kind of the right shoulder of the car, the red looks way darker than standing here seeing the side door. So it depends on where the sun is hitting the color, as well as the lighting and things of that nature. So when the wheels went on the car, we actually did the outer lips in the same Rosso Efesto paint. And since it was inside the shop, when I came out, I was like, it wasn't exactly a complete match, but that's because I was looking at the car in the dimmer lighting inside with the artificial lighting. And so all of this looked a little bit darker than the wheel, but actually when we brought it out here, that's when I noticed, again, it's the depth of the color. So the outer lip is a perfect spot on match. And the reason, or the way that we're able to do that is, instead of powder coating, which the majority of the wheels are, this is a paint just like the aluminum and the bodywork of the car. So when the wheels were done with machining, they were shipped over to us here in Miami from Anarchy, which is in California. We disassembled the wheel. They came actually polished silver. We took it to the paint shop along with the gas cap, which is on the other side. Of course, the Rosso Efesto paint code, and we had it stripped down from the polished silver, and then we painted the outer lip. The satin black, the gloss black center face is continuing with the theme of the wheel being entirely shiny. Of course, this is a center lock, and the actual Anarchy wheel model is called the S3X5. So this wheel is also available for anybody that has a 5 lug, even for anybody that has a 6 lug, we can make it happen. Available in any color, of course. You don't have to color match it, but on Aventadors, it's usually the thing to do. So that's a really cool color. 21 by 9.5 for the front, 22 by 13 in the rear. So the tire size is going to be a 245, 30, 21 up front. In the rear, it's going to be a 335, 25, 22. When you see it on the car, it's actually a really big car, and you notice the size of the Aventador, how large it is when you put it next to a Huracan. And so when it's on the car, the tire and the wheel look kind of small, but when this is off the car and my guys are mounting and balancing the tire looks massive, the wheel looks massive. So everything just is very proportional once you get it on the car. Now, the wheels is not the only thing that Tariq wanted us to fix. Another thing he wanted us to fix was the ride height of the car. And so since Tariq is located in Texas, he said, hey, how are we gonna figure out what ride height I want? So what I said was, go to our website, www.wheelsboutique.com, go to our gallery and sort our customer picture gallery by Lamborghini Aventador. We have a couple dozen on there, and that's just the ones that were local to us that we're able to take photos of, which is mind-blowing because the majority of our clients aren't even local to us. So I told him to go there, pick out an Aventador where you like the ride height, because every customer likes it a little bit different. And he chose a blue Aventador S that we did on an Anarchy S1 X3s in brushed silver. And I showed my techs the photos and we replicated that same ride height. Typically we'll go a little bit lower, but Tariq had read and heard that the car might get a little bit of bouncy, which we haven't experienced before, but I wanted Tariq to feel comfortable. And so we set it just a little bit higher than what we usually do. And then the very final thing that we did to the car is, of course, did I say that those were Novatec springs? If I didn't, they're Novatec adjustable springs. So my apologies to Novatec. But the very last thing that we did was the exhaust. So when he purchased the car, it didn't have a factory exhaust. It had a different aftermarket exhaust. I'm not gonna get into details of what brand that was, just because I don't wanna really poop on another brand that he didn't really like. And so we went back and forth, IPE, Gentani, IPE, Gentani. So before I say it, what do you guys think it is? It's actually the Gentani. Now, we have done the Gentani before, never featured it on the channel before. What it's known for is having the highest pitch out of all the aftermarket exhausts. So a lot of people like the IPE because of the overall rumble along with the higher pitch, but from a pitch standpoint, the Gentani is much higher in that sense. So when I was in the car driving up and down the highway, I was absolutely floored. The pops and bangs as well, because the car is tuned, and just a high pitch. It reminded me of the V12 era F1 cars. Now I know Lamborghini wasn't in F1 at that time, or you know, they were testing, I think in the early 90s, but they never actually developed a race engine for F1, but it does sound like those generation F1 cars. So I'm very impressed with Gentani. The quality is extremely good. The sound is undeniable. There's nobody that can stand on the street and say that didn't sound good. And I know that firsthand, because as I came back to kind of park it, we were kind of about 100 yards, 200 yards away from the location here. And when I came back to the store, people were outside looking at the car and seeing what it was. I also saw a police officer. I'm sure they were there for our closed streets. So I came up, parked the car, took the key out, acted like I wasn't driving. But again, closed streets, so we were good on that. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this car. I was mentioning to my colleague Hector and also to Marvin that a lot of times when you see a color matched lip to the Lamborghini, it's on an SVJ or an SV that has a really big wing. And so when our tech Andy first drove the car to make sure that everything was fine, this little pop-up wing was down and the car looked so freaking sleek. I can't think of another Aventador S with the color matched lips, so I actually liked that little piece of it a lot. And it's just kind of the little things that I notice and the little things that I have to notice. That way when I am communicating with a client and kind of trying to guide them and direct them to the best setup, I can do so, and I learned from the past experiences. Let us know what you think about this beautiful Rosso Efesto. Let us know what you think about the Anarchy S3X5s. As I might not have mentioned before, these are available in 1-piece and 2-piece, basically for any single car, any color. So let us know if you're interested in those wheels, even if you have an SUV. And let us know what do you think about the overall setup, about the ride height, about the Gintani sound. Let us know if you want to see more cars, more Aventadors with the Gintani exhaust on here. Maybe we'll get some B-roll of a future one when they're doing the installation, so you can kind of see the design of their piping, which makes a huge difference. And make sure you comment, like, subscribe, helps us out with our channel. And then I'll see you on the next one.